On today's episode of Andy Ari on 3, presented by BetMGM, it is a pick show, and it is a wild pick show. We pick 9 games in which the home team is the underdog in every single one. We're talking about, of course, the Egg Bowl. Can't imagine why anybody would want to watch that. Texas A&M at Texas, Ohio State, Michigan, the Iron Bowl, and more. Games that have playoff implications, games that have conference title implications, all of them with home underdogs. Plus, an update on the coaching carousel today on Andy and Ari on 3, presented by BetMGM. We are presented by BetMGM. We use BetMGM lines and totals, and you can join us by joining BetMGM. If you have not signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code CFB, as in college football, CFB, and you'll get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how that works. Download the BetMGM app and sign on using the bonus code CFB. Deposit at least $10 to place your first wager on any game. You'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use the bonus code CFB when you're signing up. So download the app, deposit at least $10, place your first wager, up to $1,500 if your first bet loses. Use the bonus code CFB when you sign up. Make this college football season one for the history books. Make it legendary with BetMGM. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers are not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. Call 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa or 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code CFB and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. Welcome to Andy and Ari on 3, presented by BetMGM. We have an incredible pick show for you today. 9 games. The home team is the underdog in all of them. I'm counting Georgia Tech as a home team here, Ari. I know they're playing at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but it's 2 miles from their home stadium. And let's be real, there were going to be a bunch of Georgia fans there anyway.
Looking at this slate of games, looking at what we have coming up this weekend, requires a fridge.
Cracking a Modelo?
It's a fridge cigarette. Andy, I think you should crack your Modelo. I cracked a DC because it's a little early in the morning, but I think that if there's ever an appropriate time to go buy a rack of Modelo, I think this is the week. With that theme, I think that there is you like checking the weather, and you keep doing that.
Hold on, I got to check the Pittsburgh weather again. Go ahead.
There's a high probability of carnage this weekend, I think. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know who it's going to be, but I feel like on Saturday at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to be fried in the most beautiful way. And I think we're going to have a really good content week, talking about the rankings on Tuesday. We're going into Thanksgiving. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. But like my sneaky suspicion based on the lines in the games that we're going to predict today means that next week on Tuesday, I think we're going to be having very different discussions about things that haven't been pertinent yet based on the results of that screen you have up there right now.
Yeah, our live show reacting to this week's college football playoff rankings, I don't think is going to be real eventful. No. I'm not saying it because I don't want you to watch. I just don't think the rankings are going to change very much.
Yeah. Because this weekend didn't have a great slate of games that feature 2 teams that impacted things, and there were no major upsets. So it was there was only one team that was still in contention for the CFP last week that almost lost, and that was Utah, who won in a thrilling game over Kansas State at home, 51-47. But other than that, everybody won. So I don't know how much is going to change from that standpoint. And frankly, I'm kind of tired of talking about Miami and Notre Dame. So we got to come up with a new angle.
Well, we're going to talk about Miami because the the forecasted Pittsburgh temperature keeps dropping. High 31, low 24. That's a noon kickoff in Pittsburgh. I believe it's a noon kickoff. Hold on. Wait. I gotta check the time on the game. It is a noon kickoff. I am just excited about this. We are headed to Detroit, by the way. BetMGM hosting us at the MGM Grand Casino in Detroit. We will be there Friday and Saturday. So Saturday morning, early afternoon, we'll be gone because we'll be in Ann Arbor covering the Ohio State-Michigan game. But all of the Black Friday games will be there in the sportsbook watching and then doing shows, live reaction shows, and our nightly wrap-up show on Friday night. Saturday, we'll be back in time for the end of the afternoon, the mid-afternoon games, and we'll be there for the night games. So we'll be doing our normal post-game wrap-up show from the sportsbook at the MGM Grand in Detroit. Come join us. If you're around
in Detroit,
come see us.
Come hang, because we want to hang. We want to get to know people. We want to put faces to names. When we were in Columbus for our Modelo activation earlier this year, it was really cool to meet some people who listen to the show. Andy, I was walking in to get my daughter some frozen yogurt last night in Dallas, and as I was walking in, there was a person sitting on the bench who was just like, "Hey, love the show," and I was like, "This is great! Like, I love meeting people out into the."
One of my favorite things at the gym is when people will come up to me and just show me their phone that they are listening to us in the gym. Frankly, I don't know how well our voices perform or help you in the squat rack, but I'll take it.
I'm sure I could rile somebody up to get that last rep in. If you're a Notre Dame fan, go to the gym. Andy, it has been, happening more and more frequently where I'll be, because like when you and I are on planes, we're flying to places that funnel into the games, right?
It's a self-selecting sample. People are going to the games on those planes. So we do see a lot of folks on the planes. Yeah.
So when we do see people on the planes, like if you're taking a trip to Atlanta from Dallas when Texas is playing at Georgia, there's a high likelihood that a lot of people are going to the game. But I have been sitting next to people on the plane quite frequently to and from games that are listening to our show, that I'm seeing it. And I don't know if they have some have put it together and some haven't, who they're sitting next to. But it's such a humbling and amazing experience. And I got to say, every single time I meet one of you in public, it makes my day. Every single time I see somebody reading or consuming what we do, it's amazing. And frankly, it's November 24th right now. I do not know how we got to rivalry week so quickly. This season flew by.
Yeah, I feel like we were just in Clemson watching LSU Clemson, literally thinking we were watching two good teams.
So I wonder how many games we will watch this weekend of teams that we thought were good. I don't know if it's too late to change your mind on some of those, but every single game here is either a rivalry game or a game that impacts CFP implications or both.
Yeah, and so there's one game we're not picking today. We pick 9 every week, and I didn't leave this one out on purpose. I just picked the 9 I thought had the most import. Immediate, but this one does have playoff implications. I'm leaving it out because it messes up our theme, and that's Vanderbilt, Tennessee, because the home team is favored in the Vandy, Tennessee game. That's the only difference. We're going to pick that game on Tuesday's show because it also deserves to be picked. Tennessee looked amazing against Florida. Vandy looked great against Kentucky. Tennessee's trying to spoil Vandy's potential playoff run. I don't know if it'll get Vandy in if they go 10-2. But Tennessee would love to make sure both teams are 9-3.
I am so fired up right now. And like, if you are a person who was kind of like, last weekend slate was kind of boring, there weren't a lot of high leverage, buddy, do I have news for you. And by the way, hot take, every year we do like Thanksgiving side drafts and stuff. Like, you know what? We've never done a random ranking of weeks.
What's that?
In the year? Like weeks in the year. Like, what are the best weeks in the year? Like
this week,
this is the best week in the year because it's football and food, the 2 Fs. And if you're lucky, the 3rd F. I don't know, what you have going on in your life, but for me, it's 2 F. And it's going to be a good time. I can't wait to.
Your 3 Fs are way better than my 3 S's. So
I have 2 Fs, food and football. But yeah, no, it's going to be a really, really great week. And, Christmas week and Hanukkah week and all the, holiday weeks are great. But this is the best week on the calendar for me personally. So I can't wait to get after it. And looking at these slated games are all going to live up to the potential. And Andy, I don't even care if I suck at picking games. I'm just excited to do it.
Well, we're going to get to your record shortly. We're going to get to your record shortly, but not yet. It's not time yet.
Yeah.
We got to talk a little coaching carousel news because we had some news on Sunday and we also had some news on Friday. If you're wondering, hey guys, why aren't you talking about Lane Kiffin right now? Wasn't there a big news on Friday? We did a reaction show immediately after the Lane Kiffin news came out, after Keith Carter, the Ole Miss AD, dropped the news that Lane Kiffin was going to coach the Egg Bowl and was going to reveal something about his future on Saturday. So,
and if you're new to the show, like the one feature I think that we have as a show that hopefully will draw people in if you're new here is that, like, if something big happens, like, you do not have to wait if it happens on a Friday night to get it. Like, we are constantly.
We don't have lives.
We if there's something to react to, we're going to give it to you when you want it. So if you are 3 days removed from a major news event and you're listening to the show wondering why aren't we talking about this, just know that every single time that already exists on the internet somewhere.
Yeah. So you can go to the On3 Sports YouTube page or check in your podcast feed and you can hear exactly what we said about the whole Lane Kiffin situation. We're going to talk about that more as the week goes on because there's obviously a lot to unpack there, but we don't know what he's going to do yet. I know all the LSU people think he's going there. About 9 days ago, all the Florida people thought he was going there. We'll see what happens. We don't know what's going to happen with him yet. Other coaching news on Sunday. Florida State said it's keeping Mike Norvell. And I don't think they said it confidently. I think they said it in a way that suggests he's a lame duck. And I wrote a column today because I got really sick of people saying, oh, they saved $58 million by not firing Mike Norvell. They most certainly did not save $58 million. If they have to fire Mike Norvell next season, they're going to owe him like $48 million. $49 million, I think. So you're just kicking the can down the road. You're still going to have to pay a bunch of money. Now, their board chair said they're going to make significant structural changes. I take that to mean they're going to hire a new front office, and this would be a front office that is more of an NFL style one that would probably outlast the current coaching administration, if that makes sense. That would be one setting up for a post-Norvell future if that's necessary. I still don't think this is going to save them any money. And it's kind of the NFL argument because in the NFL, they're like, okay, do you keep your GM and fire your coach, or do you fire your coach and keep, do you fire your GM and keep your coach, or do you get rid of them both and then bring in people who might have synergy at the same time? I think this is Florida State saying we don't have a lot of cash right now, and we don't want to be in this market where LSU, Florida, and Penn State are all looking for coaches.
Yeah. I think there's a difference between saving money and kicking the can down the road to when you're going to have to pay it. And I also think that there is a difference between sunken cost and dead money and money spent. So I think, like, by keeping Norvell, if something happens in the offseason with a new structure or new players or whatever, where they have a bounce back year and they win 10 games, which, you know, he's had a bad 2 years, but we can't say that's impossible. He's already gone undefeated in the regular season.
He has, but I mean, what's the anomaly? The 13-0 season or the other seasons?
No. I personally don't think that he has done enough to keep his job. Like, I'm not here trying to say that they did the right thing. What I'm here to say is that if there is a bounce back, which you cannot say is impossible because it's literally already happened.
No, it's not impossible. And the thing is, if they do bounce back, you're right.
It's no longer
it will save money.
That's it. Like that's it. Like, you're paying into something that you won't have to fight. It's like, you know, so I understand that process. And also, if they were to fire him, it's a $54 million buyout, but the actual bill, when you think about like coaching buyouts and all those things for assistants too, is in the upwards of 75. So
by the way, they're probably going to have to do some of that now.
Anyway. Yeah. But anyway, like, the whole total package of what it would cost to fire him is obscenely expensive. And you're also entering in, or would be entering in, one of the most expensive carousels, maybe the single most expensive carousel in the history of the sport, because Lane Kiffin's contract is probably going to buoy other contracts up as well. And other coaches are going to get raises that aren't even in coaching changes. So, like, it's not the right time if you know, and I know Florida State fans are probably upset about it, right? Like, if you're Florida State, you want a new change. You don't want to feel like, okay, well, we know the answer to something. We want to keep getting the same result. Like, I get it. But from a financial standpoint, if they have a bounce back year, Florida State is much healthier on a balance sheet standpoint than they would be if they were to pay that $75 billion now.
That's exactly right. Now, we'll find out if it works. I think the Florida State fans are pretty. I don't even know if they're mad anymore. I think the thing I worry about is you risk apathy here, and apathy is probably what you're going to get, at least for an offseason.
Is Florida State a blue blood?
I don't think they qualified on the one I did.
Okay, but they're like
it was very close.
If they're not blue blood, they're blue blood adjacent.
Yeah.
When's the last time a blue blood a fan base or a team that has that type of tradition and fan buy-in reached apathy?
I mean, Nebraska, I think, did at some point.
I know, but Nebraska hasn't had a winning season in 20 years, or like a competitive national championship type season in 20 years.
Yeah.
25 years, 30 years.
Yeah, the thing is, this is coming 2 years after a year where they won the league.
Like, people might be apathetic right now, but like, trust me, when they have their opener next year, this place is going to be filled. Like, it's Florida State. So
their opener's at Alabama. And
oh boy. Yeah, we should have a segment on schedules for next year because somebody said this one for you.
Florida State's ACC draw is harder next year than it was this year. And yeah, what Ari's talking about is USC because we've been saying acceptable progress. Lincoln Riley's doing okay. USC schedule is much harder next year, and so that is something you have to keep in mind. But
USC, schedule, they have Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Notre Dame next year, and Indiana. Half their games are against teams that could conceivably win the national title next year.
Yep. So it's going to be very interesting. All right, one more bit of coaching carousel news. Cal has fired Justin Wilcox. That came after a loss to Stanford. Our Pete Nakos has a story up about potential candidates to replace Justin Wilcox. The one name I would focus in on if I were everybody is Tosh Lupoi, the defensive coordinator at Oregon, who is a Cal grad, former Cal assistant. I think it is very likely that Tosh Lupoi will be the next head coach at Cal.
Yeah. And he's been around, and he's been in a lot of high leverage recruiting moments. I don't know if the rebuild at Cal looks the same thing as a rebuild would look at, I don't know, let's say Florida, but you want somebody who knows what it looks like. And I think that would be a nice fit. So, I don't know how much Cal moves the needle, but they weren't nearly as good as they were supposed to be this year. And at times at the beginning of the year, it looked like they were going to be sensational and just didn't materialize.
Well, the question is, do they keep Jaron Sagapolitelli, their quarterback? And remember, I want to point out, if Tosh Lupoi is the hire, where was JKS committed? Where did he actually sign?
Oregon.
And yeah, he went to Oregon and then left to go to Cal because there was immediate playing time available there, and Dante Moore was at Oregon. If Tosh Lupoi gets hired, I'd say that probably will help them keep JKS.
Yeah. Yeah, because if they don't, you could also make the case that keeping your quarterback when firing a coach is a harder thing to do. But my understanding,
half the SEC and the Big Ten are going to reach out to JKS. I can tell you that right now.
I would say that the gambling odds of them retaining him, regardless of who they hire, are fairly bad.
There will be intense competition.
Is he like next year's Indiana quarterback? Like, I don't know. But
Indiana stole their last one from Cal.
I know it worked out quite well.
Did work out quite well. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but there will be a lot of teams in the JKS sweepstakes. Though I will say, if Cal hires Tosh Lupoi, Cal is going to be one of those teams. They're going to have a chance to keep him. All right, Ari. It's time to pick some games, but first, do you want to go to some of these games? Some of these games this week are absolutely incredible. We'll be at Ohio State, Michigan, in Ann Arbor in the Big House. If you'd like to join us, download the Gametime app. Redeem the code STAPLES to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, of course. If you're in the app, you can see exactly where you'd be sitting, whether it's at Michigan Stadium, whether it's at the Iron Bowl. You can go see Alabama-Auburn. If you want to see Texas A&M at Texas, you want to see the Aggies returning to Austin for the first time since 2010. So many games. So many easy ways to go because all you've got to do is Download the Gametime app. They have tickets for everything. And the price you see is the price you pay. None of the junk at the end at checkout where they tack on a bunch of fees. You just pay what the dollar figure says, and that's it. So download the Gametime app. Use the code Staples, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Gametime. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. All right, Ari. It is now time for us to go to our picks. Last week, I was 5-4. You were 3-6. My record this year is 65, 52, and 3 against the spread. Your record against the spread is 45, 73, and 2.
Good time to sneeze for me.
Okay. All right. We'll let you handle that sneeze. But this week will be a very challenging week to pick because, again, 9 games that we're picking. The home team is the underdog in every one. You are going to have to pick some underdogs to cover, probably in at least half these games. And it's just a matter of which ones you getting right. Because weird things happen. Let's see. How many of these are like blood feud rivalry games? The Egg Bowl is, clean old-fashioned hate is, Texas A&M-Texas is, Territorial Cup is, Ohio State-Michigan is, Oregon-Washington is, and Alabama-Auburn is. So 7 of the ones we're picking are blood feud rivalries. Iowa-Nebraska is a good rivalry, and Miami-Pittsburgh has conference title implications.
Yeah. I don't even know where we're going to start. Are we going to go into juiciest first or what? Like, what are you thinking?
We're going chronological because it's like that actually gets us into the juicy. Like, it's a good juice level all the way through. It stays moist. Let's put it that way. So let us start on Friday in Starkville, Mississippi. Ole Miss is at Mississippi State. We know Lane Kiffin will be coaching this game because athletic director Keith Carter told us he'd be coaching this game. Mississippi State is a 7.5-point home underdog.
Whew. Yeah, and that's the best thing about all these games too, Andy. Is like that most of them are like single-digit spreads.
Yes, only 2 double-digit spreads of this out of the 9. So here's the question: does all of this Lane Kiffin stuff affect Ole Miss? Because the argument going back 2 years is that when he was flirting with Auburn, it did affect the result of the 2022 Egg Bowl.
How much do you think the team is distracted? We're not picking the game. We're picking that, right?
Yes, I think that's true. And the other question is, how bad do they have to win it? I think they're in the playoff either way, thanks to the win against Oklahoma. But if they want to make absolutely sure, they just win this game and they're definitely in the playoff.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm going to let you go first. I don't know.
I think 2 years ago things were a little bit different. I think Ole Miss, from a talent standpoint, is considerably better here. I get that Mississippi State will be motivated. I know Jeff Lebby has had them playing tough against teams that had higher talent levels pretty much all year. But I still think Ole Miss gets this done. I think the atmosphere that they've created, one, Lane Kiffin is a pretty much a circus year round. So I don't think this is really changing much for those guys.
Yeah. And
I think Ole Miss is going to cover here.
And the distraction bowl was the Florida Bowl game, right? I mean, they beat the crap out of them.
which they did struggle in.
That's what I meant. Like, Florida beat them crap out of them at times, like physically, is what I meant. I'm taking Mississippi State here. Isn't the Egg Bowl
cover to win?
To cover. I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm not a psychopath. The Egg Bowl's weird though, always, isn't it? Like, that's not like a.
It is.
Even if this wasn't happening, it'd be a weird game.
This is a game that has turned on penalties for someone pretending to pee on the goalpost like a dog.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. I'm going to say it one more time. This is a game that has turned on people who were penalized for pretending to pee on the goalpost like a dog.
I just don't think he should have been penalized for that, Elijah Moore. Come on. Like, that's not like.
Well, it was an homage because DK did it first.
Yeah. I don't think he should have been penalized. That's messed up. And a great celebration, dude. Like, why is that any different than any dance? I don't understand why. Like, we don't have to relitigate it, but I just it's a celebration.
Probably because you're pretending to urinate like a dog. Listen. I love this rivalry so much.
Mississippi State is an okay team. Like, they're not going to play a team that's a disaster, and I think that's a nice step in the right direction for Levy and the boys. I don't know how much this is going to impact them. The game is on the road. It's not on Saturday. Like
clanger.
I'm sure you've covered a Mississippi State game before, right?
I have.
Is it much louder because of those? Like, I've never.
Yes, it is. The cowbells are insanely loud.
And people get like mad that it's like almost not fair. Like, it's artificial crowd noise, right?
Well, it is artificial crowd noise, but there are rules. They must ring responsibly during SEC games. They are not allowed to ring while the opposing offense is calling signals.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I'm gonna just go for. We're starting off a pretty insane weekend. I'm gonna go for grab ass right out of the gate. I'm gonna take Mississippi State here. I know that Ole Miss is a better team. I think Ole Miss is a team that could make a nice run in the CFP, but I'm gonna go for chaos here with what's going on off the field.
So what you're saying is, at some point, it is likely that someone will attempt to recreate peeing on the goalpost like a dog.
Hey, tinfoil hat Monday.
Yes.
If you believe that Ole Miss's separation from Lane Kiffin is imminent, and you believe that he is not going to be coaching this team during the playoff run, could you make the case that losing this game would be better for Ole Miss because it makes the cut between the two easier and might galvanize the new coach to say he wasn't fully bought in? I'm here for you. Let's go ride.
No.
No?
This is where Herm Edwards comes in and says, you play to win the games.
I'm not saying that they're not going to try to win or that they don't want to win, as I hold my hands up still. I'm not saying that they don't want to win. I'm not saying it's not a rivalry. What I'm saying is could it be like the Ohio State-Michigan thing last year where like something happened that was terrible and then that thing helped navigating the future?
Would ignite them in the playoff. The problem is...
Can I put my hands down?
You can. The problem is you get into danger if there's some bid thieves if you lose. So you got to just win.
Okay, I think
Ole Miss is in if they lose, but you're just sure they're in if they win.
It's easier to tell your coach to kick rocks if you lose a game you're not supposed to lose because you're distracted.
We didn't want you anyway,
is all I'm saying. If you win the game, if they go out and beat the crap out of them, which they can, and then Lane is told to go kick rocks, that optically is a lot harder thing to understand than it would be of like, hey, this isn't working right now.
What if he
change?
What if he stands up after the game and he's like, I ain't leaving.
I mean, I think you could file that under grab ass too with how much of a circus this has become. And I would 100%. Actually love to know, and I don't remember if we talked about this, but I do think we should take 30 seconds because I want to know your opinion on this. Like, who do you think is to blame, the calendar or Lane Kiffin for this?
Lane Kiffin.
Okay, I agree.
Nick Saban wants to fix the calendar. Here's the thing. The main problem with the calendar is the semester system in college in America, which is based on when Christmas is. So unless you're planning to move Christmas, Nick Saban, I don't think you're going to fix anything.
I mean, maybe I'm not the person to be the vessel of this message, considering my Judaism, but I would be okay moving Christmas if it meant fixing the college football calendar.
I'm not even going to give out the email address. Just
where? No, I'm saying like,
yeah. Well, how would you do it?
Where would you even move Christmas to?
You'd have to put everybody on the quarters because you just can't have the natural semester break right there. You need the natural semester break to be after the college football playoff. You need it to be sometime in the spring when the NFL does all its coaching moves and personnel moves. That's because they keep saying, well, it needs to be like the NFL. The NFL's make sense. Right, because the NFL doesn't have semesters.
Yeah. Or you could start the semester a month early. You don't have to move Christmas, move college.
That agreed. But college is there because of Christmas. So you don't have to move Christmas. You could move college. But I'm just saying, most people want that break right then. So unless you can figure out how to change that,
it is a very natural break in life.
Yeah. If they could just say, we're moving this to February 1st, the new semester starts February 1st in every school in America, then by all means do it.
But if they started the semester at the beginning of July and then just made a longer break.
What if they moved the start of every semester, the start of the spring semester at every campus in America to the first Wednesday in February?
Yeah.
You know what the first Wednesday in February, like it hasn't been that long, right? You still remember what that is.
National Signing Day?
There you go.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah. The Nick Saban diatribe about the calendar, who wrote that? His agent?
Nick Saban, probably. I mean, Jimmy Sexton is Nick Saban's agent, and Lane Kiffin is Jimmy Sexton's client as well. But I'm not going to throw everything on Jimmy. Not everything in college football is Jimmy's fault. Jimmy's just trying to make money for his clients.
Yeah, and he's good.
People who spend the money need to spend it more smartly.
And Jimmy, if you ever want anybody, if you're listening to the show, to come work for you and do everything that you want pro bono for a year with the promise that I will be able to work with you forever and be like you, I'll do it.
Yeah, because Ari's just offered to be Jimmy Sexton. You're going to leave me to be Jimmy Sexton's intern. I see how it is.
Would you blame me? I watched Entourage. I know how that stuff works. And my
you want to be
Ari.
Lloyd? Well, at least Lloyd got paid.
I want to be Lloyd, and then I want to be Ari Gold. Yeah. That show saved my life, by the way. I don't know if you know that. Everybody called me Ari, then Entourage came out, and nobody ever got my name wrong again. Lloyd!
Good job, Jeremy Piven. I still think your best role was in PCU.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Or his cameo that he made in Rush Hour. That was a pretty good one, too.
Or when he played the evil dean in Old School.
Very good role.
A nod to his role in PCU.
Very good role. Very underrated role.
Ari, let us move to Lincoln, Nebraska. Iowa at Nebraska. And boy, everything changes. We had that question from our friend Tyler last week. Where he said, what if TJ Latif's just awesome? What happens then at Nebraska? Okay, we can set that to the side now. Like, Nebraska went to Penn State and got clowned. And now they're in a situation where it kind of feels like the end of last year, where how much you've improved this season may hinge on what the result of this game is.
Yeah. That was a rough look, Andy. That was a rough look. Now, I know Ralph Russo, our friend who listens to the show, works at The Athletic, tweeted teams that are better than their record. And like Penn State was the first one and it's like, yeah, Penn State is better than their record. But
are they that much better than Nebraska? Like 37-10? Nebraska didn't even put up a fight.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That was optically was a bad look. And it makes you wonder if like Nebraska's limping into the offseason. And Iowa was a 17-point favorite over Michigan State over the weekend, and they did not cover the spread, come even close.
I mean, they almost they had to come back to win the game.
They almost lost the game. Yeah. Kind of a tricky spread here. I'll go first since you went first last time. I think that Nebraska is limping into the offseason. I like Iowa's defense against the quarterback that may not be the person who takes Dylan Raiola's job away. And I just think like vibes-wise, Iowa's in a better place.
Yeah, so Nebraska's a 5.5-point underdog at home. More important, I feel like we're back to this bit. The total on this game is 39.5.
Mm-hmm.
Under. I'll take the under.
Yeah. It's probably going to be a sloppy Big Ten West type game. Now, if you think that's the case, then maybe taking the points is an attractive thing. But I think like Iowa's going to win like 20-10 or something.
I'm just checking the weather for.
Yeah, go ahead.
No
weather, we need a weather.
High 32. High 32, low 27.
Oh, it's cold in the Midwest in December. Who would have thought?
11 a.m. local kickoff. It's still cold. November. Yeah. 11 a.m. local kickoff on Friday. God. Okay. what to do with this. I think something that plays out similar to the Michigan State-Iowa game, which was which is actually basically the Nebraska-Iowa game from last year. Competitive, Iowa comes back, kicks a field goal to win. Like, I can see that. I can definitely see that. So I can see Iowa, but then you got to pick Nebraska to cover.
Yeah. Say it out loud.
Yeah. Because the under feels very safe, but
well, I mean, we need to have a legitimate conversation at some point into the future about whether this was a successful season for Nebraska. But I think they absolutely have to try to win this one just to feel some sort of positivity heading into the offseason. And I feel like after last week, I saw, I follow a lot of Nebraska people online now because of our summer together, and being the number one hated person in Nebraska.
Well, let me ask you this, because obviously this game will factor into this. If I told you at the beginning of the season Nebraska finished the season 8-4, how would you have felt about that?
Fine.
Okay. I agree. If I told you at the beginning of the season Nebraska finished 7-5, how would you feel about that?
Oh, no.
Okay. And now, part of this is the way they lost to Penn State. Part of this is that they just gave Matt Rule more money to keep him from going to Penn State, and he just showed in State College that Penn State probably wasn't going to hire him anyway. So they just gave him that money for nothing. So that's going to be the question. But if you're 8-4 and you're coming off a win against Iowa, and then you got a bowl game, and perhaps you get some more optimism out of the bowl game, I still think you're okay. I think Nebraska's going to put up a fight here. I think we saw it after they put up no fight against Minnesota. They did bounce back to competitiveness. They've had 2 games where they've just been absolutely shellacked that I don't, you just don't understand. And Northwestern and Iowa, that's the team they beat after that Minnesota game. Northwestern and Iowa are not that different.
Keep talking yourself into it, dude. You're
Give me Nebraska to cover. Let's
go.
The
picker here. You're the picker. You're the one who's killing me.
Nebraska to cover.
Yeah, I would never play this game in a million years with real money, by the way. With real American currency, maybe Bitcoin with the way it's falling right now. I don't know. But it'll be a good game. It'll be a fun game, and I think it's a pure game. It's the corn game. I love it, and I can't wait to watch. I think that there is a larger conversation about extensions and Matt Rule, and I just think that Nebraska fans crave college football playoff contention. They crave getting back to glory. And I don't know if, regardless of what happens in this game, if you saw anything this year that makes you think they're that much closer to it than they were a year ago, which is sad because for a minute there, it kind of felt like they were headed in the right direction.
We're very down because of the way they lost Saturday. I'm telling you, if they beat Iowa on Friday, that it doesn't all go away, but some of it goes away.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if Iowa wins this thing, it was a really good year for them.
Yeah, it was.
Not what they wanted, because they did come up short against Indiana, Oregon, and USC, and were right in those games. But given their talent level, given some of the injuries they've had to deal with, I actually think this would be a great season for them if they win this game.
And I just think if they would have, because their offense isn't great. Let's be honest. I know Gronowski's ability to run gives them a different dimension than some of their previous quarterbacks did. I do try to think
really make it dynamic.
If Kirk Ferentz would have gone and outgotten somebody like Gronowski 3 years ago,
fired Brian.
Yeah, and married this offense with some of the defenses that they've had there in the recent past, this would have probably been a playoff team. So, I think that if you're an Iowa fan who has grown impatient with Kirk Ferentz, I think that he earned some welfare in terms of hey, we can get our defense back to where it was a few years ago. And now I know offensively what we can do to at least be functional. And I think that's the product of what we got out of them this year. And I think that's a step in the right direction.
So Ari's taking Iowa to cover. I am taking Nebraska to cover. Before we head to the ATL, I want to tell you about Huel. The Huel Black Edition is your best meal replacement that you can get. If you're busy on the go, you need a quick breakfast, quick lunch, Huel Black Edition is the way to go. I put the powder in the bottle, I shake the bottle up, and boom, I have a complete meal, 35 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals. It is fantastic. And right now, if you go to Huel.com, that's Huel.com, use the code Staples15, you get 15% off your first purchase of $75 or more, plus a free gift. You can also find Huel Ready to Drink Black Edition at your local Target. You can also find Huel Daily Greens at Huel.com and at your local Target. That is one can that includes 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods, super greens, adaptogens, lion's mane mushroom, and 4 grams of fiber. It's a great way to start your day. So go to Huel.com, Huel.com. Use the code Staples15 for 15% off your first purchase of $75 or more.
No, you have the copy, but haven't enjoyed this. It tastes good and it's incredibly filling. So it does the two things that you like. That,
it's a meal. Yeah,
it tastes like a really good chocolate milkshake, and then it also serves the purpose of satiating you long term, if it were a meal. So it's not just nutritionally a meal; it is a meal.
Yes, exactly right. So go to Huel.com, Staples15, 15% off plus free gift. Ari, let's go to the ATL. So this game was a Georgia Tech home game originally. They've moved it to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Georgia versus Georgia Tech. Clean, old-fashioned hate. Best rivalry name in America, I think. Brawl of the Wild. Montana State, maybe that one. But clean, old-fashioned hate's a close second. Georgia is a 13-point favorite. This is not a road game for Georgia. I think we probably would assume that about at least half the crowd's going to be Georgia fans, maybe even a little more. This was a classic last year. 8 overtime game. Haynes King battling. Carson Beck was still Georgia's quarterback at the time. I have a hard time watching Georgia Tech these past few weeks and thinking that we're going to get something similar to that.
Do people who go to Georgia Tech root for Georgia?
No, not really.
Ever? Sometimes you'll have I went to the MAC school in Ohio, but I'm an Ohio State fan. Is there any of that in this?
It's not really the same thing. Although if you are going to Georgia Tech, you might be going to get an engineering degree, and you may have grown up a Georgia fan. So there's probably a few of those, but I think generally they are Georgia Tech fans.
Do you think Georgia Tech has anything left in the tank to push them like they did last year after what we saw on Saturday?
I mean, the only reason you can give is it's a rivalry game. That's it. Because the team we saw against Pittsburgh, the team we saw against Boston College, the team we saw against NC State is going to get just creamed by this Georgia team.
Yeah.
Unless the Georgia team just doesn't show up.
And Georgia is still very much familiar with what happened last year. It's not like they're going to get stung.
Oh, yeah.
It
hasn't changed.
You get that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that there was a streak in the middle of the year, Andy, where I thought that Georgia was susceptible to losing games, and I thought, hey, they need to be put on notice here. Their resurgence, or their surge, I should say, in conjunction with the way that Georgia Tech has been playing in the last month, makes it really hard to pick against the Bulldogs in this game. I'm going to lay the points, and I'm going to go Georgia here.
Yeah, Georgia is a 13-point favorite. That's a big, big number. This is the biggest number of any of the games we're dealing with today. But the way they played against Texas, that looks like a team that can win the national title. Not just a team that can be competitive against Ohio State. It looked like a team that can win the national title. And if Georgia is moving, clicking into a higher gear as it approaches the college football playoff, then I think that's a big deal. Now, none of the other stuff really matters to Georgia. They may or may not wake up Sunday morning and find out they're in the SEC championship game. It depends on what happens with Texas A&M on Friday night. It depends on what happens with the
impact on either team.
Not really. No, because Georgia's in the playoff if they lose.
Yeah.
And Georgia Tech just has to wait and see what happens with the rest of the ACC to find out if it's in the ACC championship game, but it probably isn't because it loses most of the tiebreakers.
Yeah, and their only path to the playoff is winning the ACC, so this has no bearing on that. So, it's
even if they win this game, I don't know that's going to matter.
Yeah. I mean, it might help. I don't know. It's just crowded.
I mean, they'd be 10-2 with winning against Georgia. It'd be the same argument as not the same argument because their schedule's different than. Like the Miami Notre Dame is a little closer comparison in schedule strength. The Georgia Tech schedule strength comparison is not as close.
Right, because they didn't play there's no SEC team in that discussion. But yeah, no, I guess they're not dead. They certainly would have had a great case, regardless of what happened. I mean, they would have been in the ACC if they didn't lose on Saturday. And by the way, I spent the entire game after they got down 28-0 convinced they were going to win. I don't know why. I thought they were going to win the game.
Because at one point they were down 35-28.
Yeah.
And you thought they were going to win.
But I thought they were going to win when they were down 28-0. Like I was like, I have a ticket I can show you. It's a losing ticket of them plus 1,100. Like I thought they were going to come back and win. And I was close, but yeah, they're just not trending in the right direction. I think Georgia's trending in the right direction. And the thing that you can unequivocally say about Kirby Smart and the onside kick that he kicked against Texas is the perfect, personification of that, is that he wants to murder you. He doesn't want to beat you. He wants to humiliate you. He wants to put his hands around your throat and suffocate you until your life leaves your body while he smirks. And I think they're kind of in that mode right now. No?
I would agree with that. And I'll go Shark Tank for you. And for that reason,
I'm out.
I'll take Georgia to cover spread.
Yeah. So we're on the same side of this one. But you know what? If it goes 12 overtimes, that'd be great too. Because Andy, last year's game made me nervously pee like 9 times. Like, I went.
We were at Ari's house because we were covering Texas and Texas A&M the next day in College Station. So we're at Ari's house in Dallas watching this game. And Ari learns what I'm like if I'm at home watching a competitive game. I just pace. I can't sit down. I just pace back and forth by the TV. And Ari just kept running back and forth to the bathroom. It was pathetic.
It's a diuretic, really, for me and I had not a single shekel on that game. It was just so exciting. Like I hope we get that again. And if it's not this game, I'm sure we'll get it in another few on the slate.
Join us at the MGM Grand because we'll be there watching all these Black Friday games, including this one where I am taking Georgia to cover and Ari is taking Georgia to cover, and including this next one, Austin, Texas. Texas A&M at Texas. We didn't play guess the spread on this one. I think if we had, we'd have both been wrong. A&M is a 2.5-point favorite in Austin. I thought it'd be a little higher than that, Ari.
I have to pee.
It's already making you nervous. I love this.
I watched Sunday Red Zone yesterday with 2 of my good buddies in Texas. 2 of my best friends here. One's an A&M fan and one's a Texas fan, and I sat and watched them go back and forth. Buddy, this is like Walter White pure college football right here. Like this is like, if you don't think college football is a drug, they have come up with a biological formula to synthesize it down to its purest form. And what came out, it's not blue, it's maroon and orange. Like that, like it is. Okay, so breakdown football wise, I think that A&M's a better football team. Breakdown emotional wise, if A&M loses this game, that is the most A&M thing that you could even imagine. And I have spent all year talking about how battered Aggie syndrome is dead and that Mike Elko sifts through the bullshit. He gets his team ready. They're not going to lose dumbass games the way that they used to. And like by and large, they've done it. If you go to Austin as the better team, as a 2.5-point favorite, lose to Texas on the road, does that you want to talk, you spent all this time last year talking about how losing to Michigan for Ohio State put a asterisk or a bitter taste in their mouth of a national title run. Can you celebrate this season the way that you would just go take it? You have to go to Austin and take it. You need to kill their playoff discussion, as little as you may think it is right now. Kill it. Take the SEC championship game invite away the way that they took it away from you. Grab it and just finish your undefeated season in the right way. Because the last thing that A&M needs is a loss on the road to Texas to finish the special year heading into the playoff. And the last thing they need, God forbid for them, is for Texas to win this game and use that as their platform to get into the playoff. Because then this season isn't even yours anymore. It's theirs. And like that's not the way it's supposed to go.
I think it's fine. Look, it's fine if they lose. A&M still getting into the playoff.
It's not fine.
Will it burn? Yeah. Will Texas get in if it wins? Probably not.
But you
But
just bought a brand new sports car,
mm-hmm.
and you've wanted this your whole life, and you finally got enough money, or you finally got to a position where you're comfortable buying it, and you scratch the shit out of it. It still drives. It's still fast. But that scratch is going to leave you like laying in your bed wondering what the hell happened here until you fix it. That's all that
or
is.
until you go through the playoff and win the national title. But I agree with you. I agree with you. It would be better for A&M if they just went ahead and won this thing. For Texas, meanwhile, they've had some angst this season. And look, it's a failure if they don't make the playoff. This was a team that was supposed to compete for the national title. They have to give themselves a chance going to Selection Sunday. And the only way to do that is win this game.
Yeah.
This is going to be amazing.
And they'll have a compelling case. I don't know if it'll be good enough to get in. They will have a compelling case if they beat them with a win over Oklahoma. That would be 2 playoff wins. Mm-hmm. And their third loss being the closest game anybody played to the, I don't know how Ohio State, Michigan's going to go. We'll pick that later. But to date, the closest loss on the road to Ohio State is a compelling resume. Now, I don't know if getting blown out by Georgia is something you can't come back from. We debated that when we were there. I don't know. The odds of them getting in are quite low. They are not eliminated by any stretch of the imagination. Especially
I didn't say they were, but I said they're probably not going to get in.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those who think they are eliminated. They're not. Talking
to the world. All right. What do we think's going to happen?
I've been riding the Aggies all year, man. I don't want to give in to that. Like, I've been telling you to bury your BAS all year, game by game by game. And like, I'm with you. Like, it is probably ringing off the charts at the moment. A&M is a better team. They're laying less than a field goal. I'm going to go with the better team laying again, and I'm going to go with Elko. You win.
Quitting the Longhorns?
I'm not quitting the Longhorns.
I think you're quitting the Longhorns.
I just think A&M is better.
Quitting the Longhorns. You've ditched one of your side teams for the other one of your side teams.
There's no I've got 2 helmets in my office, just so you guys know.
Oh boy. Here it comes. Just wait for it. The dramatic pause.
9-3 Wildcats. Loading.
Oh, yep.
Go get them, Ags! Go get them, Ags! This is what my wife.
That's not something they say. Why did you invent this "go get them, Ags" thing?
It's kind of what they say, like in their cheer practice or their
yell practice.
Yeah, they go
whoop.
Hey, Ags! I got a story to tell you. It's kind of like that's my.
So you think Old Rock the Good Ag's going to walk into Austin, punch those hippies in the face?
That's good bull right there. What you're just saying,
and come back. Yeah. With a trip to the SEC championship game.
I do. I don't know if I believe it, but I am too pot committed at this point to change course. How much of a freaking hypocrite would I be if I picked Texas today? Come on.
I don't know because you've been very well. There was a time you said Texas stunk, but then you were right back on him picking him against Georgia.
Yeah.
You picked Texas to win straight up against Georgia.
I'm in a toxic relationship with Texas and have been for 10 years. And that we'll come back from it. Like, even if I turn my back on them, like they'll know I'll be there. Because you want to know why? Arch Manning is Kyle Pitts.
You're just never going to give up on him.
Arch Manning is going to be a Heisman favorite this offseason, no matter what happens. Am I wrong? He did just enough this year against a bad offensive line to show you a win.
Did you just make a declarative statement about Arch Manning and the Heisman for 2026? Didn't you learn anything for 2025?
I'm saying that he will be that isn't a hot take. He will be one of the statistical favorites to win it in July.
Okay, that's probably not. It's not like what you said he can't not go to New York.
Did he not do enough this year to own the offseason again?
I don't know. I'm going to let you keep walking into bear traps. This is like,
I'm not even saying anything controversial. Like you're trying to pretend like it is. Texas fans are just dreaming of the day that he has a clean pocket. That's all. He makes some throws, man. I can see the vision. I think he's going to still be good.
This is like the episode of The Simpsons with Sideshow Bob and the rakes, where no matter where he turns, there's another rake. Whoosh, yeah, whoosh, yeah. That's you right now with Arch Manning in Texas.
Well, let's see what you have then.
Oh, give me A&M to cover. They're better.
Okay. Yeah.
Listen.
Now if they lose,
I can see them. There's certainly a plausible scenario where they lose this game. I mean, you watch the first half of the South Carolina game. If they play like that, Texas will not let them come back and win. So
this is also the most talented team that they've played in 2.5 months.
But I think this plays out a lot like last year's game played out, where the team that was supposed to win won. Texas came in, had an awesome defense. Texas A&M's offense was suspect, and Texas's offense tried to give the ball to A&M, and Texas's defense just wouldn't let them do anything. So it was exactly what was supposed to happen.
Horns off, saw varsity's horns off. I got to say this one thing, though. Okay. It is absolutely psychotic that A&M fight song is around another team.
Rent-free. A lot of rent-free going on there.
It's psychotic. And it's beautiful.
Of course, we just talked about Georgia and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's fight song is about Georgia.
How's theirs go? I don't know that.
It says "to hell with Georgia" in the song.
Okay.
So it's not
active
limited to Texas A&M.
Yeah, ours is just and I said ours because I'm an Aggie right now.
Oh God.
Ours is just reserved for animal abuse.
You married an Aggie. You are not an Aggie. You have no Aggie ring. You did not dunk your Aggie ring.
I married an Aggie ring and I procreated with one. That's as close to becoming an Aggie as you is going to school there. Right?
I'm just going to leave that one right there. We both picked Texas A&M to cover 2.5 points. We'll see what happens. Get him, Ag. Let's talk about your actual alma mater now, Ari. Arizona. Brent Brennan, comeback coach of the year. Noah Fafita, comeback player of the year. Arizona's been awesome this year, especially given preseason expectations. Meanwhile, they are playing an Arizona State team that is still statistically alive, still mathematically alive to make the Big 12 championship game. And if you'd said that when Sam Levitt got hurt, I would have said you're insane. But Kenny Dillingham is winning games with Jeff Sims at quarterback. Arizona is a 1.5-point favorite at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. Ari's going to have the helmet on the entire time. Hopefully he won't move his head too much because he's going to drop it if he does.
They can't keep getting away with this, right? Arizona State. I know Kenny Dillingham. Are they going to?
They might be able to get away with it one more time.
They can't keep getting away with this. Kenny Dillingham is coaching out of his mind, and he is rightfully a candidate for some pretty big jobs because he has earned the right to do so. Personnel-wise, which quarterback are we taking here? Which team is hotter? Which team is feeling good? Where are the vibes? One team has a potential Big 12 championship game path. One doesn't. But I'm going with my Wildcats on this one. I don't think they can keep getting away with it.
What if Arizona's been getting away with it?
Hey, listen, blood's thicker than water. What do you want me to do? I'm a Arizona homer. I am consumed by Arizona.
So I don't think Raleek Brown is going to run for 255 yards and average 11.6 yards a carry the way he did against Colorado.
That was pretty good, yeah.
But I do think if Arizona State runs the ball, not like that, because it's really hard to run the ball like that, but runs the ball reasonably well, they're going to win this game. So give me the Sun Devils, especially because you're giving me 1.5.
Yeah, Colorado's an absolute mess, and and I know they scored like 500 points unanswered in the fourth quarter to blow them out, but like they were struggling for 3 quarters. They're not looking like they're humming on all cylinders right now. And obviously, when you run the ball the way they did, you're going to win.
Sam Leavitt, that's why.
And who do you think wants to win this one more? I know they both want to win it a lot, but like Arizona is desperate to finish the season on a high note, and I think that
Arizona State is still in the mix. This is a Friday night game. They will not know what has happened with BYU and Texas Tech.
Just for our podcast audience, can you break down their narrow path again to what needs to happen for Arizona State to make it? They need to win. Obviously,
BYU needs to lose to UCF, or Texas Tech needs to lose to West Virginia, and they need to win.
What was the first one?
That's it. BYU needs to lose to UCF.
Okay.
Or Texas Tech needs to lose to West Virginia. The BYU loss to UCF is more likely, though not very likely.
Yeah. So they're not going to Dallas, is what you're saying.
Probably not. But they got to win, because if they don't win, they have no chance.
But Kenny Dillingham also sold his soul to the devil. See what I did there? I'm like on a pun. I'm on a.
You're saying he sold it to Sparky?
He sold it to somebody. I don't know. He can't keep getting away with this. Maybe he will. Maybe they'll go to the Big 12 championship.
I mean, he's literally on Sparky's payroll.
Yeah. Arizona won 4 games in a row. Their loss to start the streak was a 3-point loss at Houston. They played BYU close. I think they're a highly functional team, and I think that Arizona State has some personnel warts that are going to be hard to overcome. I think that, like, all Homer jokes aside, Arizona's in a better spot right now.
All right. Give me the Sun Devils to break your heart. Let us go where we are headed on Saturday. But first, I'm going to talk about our friends at Panini. The makers of the most collectible sports cards on the planet. Go to PaniniAmerica.net to collect your favorite college and NFL stars. If you're an Ohio State fan, we're about to talk about the Buckeyes. You got these Ohio State blaster boxes with multiple packs. So it's 6 packs of 4 of Ohio State cards, which include different Ohio State athletes. Oh boy, I'm liking this one a lot. Okay, so we've got James Hong, who's a hockey player. We've got a legendary contenders, Troy Smith, Heisman Trophy winner in 2006. We've got Tanner Creech, who plays soccer. But look at this, Ari. School colors, NIL, Julian Sayin.
Is that thing numbered?
It is not.
Oh, okay. I'm
going to open another pack, though.
I mean, I do think that you need to throw that thing into a sleeve, though.
I got some. I know. I'm putting every Julian Sayin I get in a sleeve.
Yeah.
So let me. I got blood on my fangs, though, so I'm going to open this other pack.
I know. Isn't it hard to stop?
Well, I mean, the thing is, there's some big ones in these. All right. So we got a Garrett Stover, campus legends Eddie George, legendary contenders Ted Ginn Jr., and college ticket Colin White. So that on their basketball team. So yeah, that Julian Sayin's the best of that bunch. You got a bunch on your desk. What you got?
I've got like 15. I'm selling. I don't know if people are getting ahead of their Christmas shopping, but I've got like 500 like packages of cards that are going out. What do I do with this? This is a Justin Fields 2021 Donruss Optic Blue Ice. This is one of Justin Fields' biggest cards on the face of the earth. I bought a ton of Justin Fields because when I first got into the hobby, like I covered him and I thought he was going to be really good in the pros. Is there any chance this thing ever becomes anything in your mind, or is it just cooked?
It's done. But all of your Jackson Smith and Jigba stuff,
yeah,
he's about to shatter the single season receiving record, and he's done it. Like it's not a they're now playing 17 regular season games thing. Like his per game's going to be better than Calvin Johnson probably.
He already broke the single season receiving record held by DK Metcalf for the Seattle Seahawks.
For the Seahawks, and which by the way means all of Steve Largent's single season records too.
Yeah. I have I've got this big ass briefcase over here on the floor. Now's not the time to open it, but I've got some Jackson Smith and Jigba cards in there that are probably worth like mid 4 figures at this point, because I bought some pretty big ones. And I was like, part of like my collection strategy is like collect people that I covered and like wrote recruiting profiles about. So a lot of these are Ohio State guys that like I got to know when they were 16 years old. That one turned out to work out pretty well. So we'll see how it goes. But JSN, I think, might be one of the best receivers. Is that a fact? Is he the best receiver in the NFL or one of the three best?
He might be
over Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase quite yet, but he's doing that. He's doing those types of seasons. So
go to PaniniAmerica.net to start your collection today. Let us talk about Ohio State receivers as we discuss the game that we were attending in Ann Arbor. Ohio State at Michigan. Michigan is a 10-point home dog. I will point out that last year, Michigan won this game as a 20.5-point road underdog. I mentioned we're going to talk about Ohio State receivers. Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, Ohio State's two best receivers, possibly the two best receivers in America, did not play last week against Rutgers. Ryan Day said they're day-to-day. Presumably, they were resting them against Rutgers so they can play against Michigan. This is going to be an incredible scene, Ari, because Ohio State is trying to break the streak. They've lost 4 in a row to Michigan. Michigan is trying to make the playoff and extend the streak. Oh my God, I can't believe we're going.
I can't wait. I went to like 11 years in a row to this, and this will be my first one back, I believe, right? After a 5 or 4 year break. I haven't been to any of the games that they've lost, so maybe I'm the missing key for them. I don't know. Ask me what my record
this doesn't help your Buckeye Homer reputation, by the way.
That's true. I don't even care about it anymore. I'm a Homer. It used to bother me, Andy. Now I'm just going to wear it. You know, actually for our podcast, if I came out as like a major Ohio State fan, that would actually be better for us because people like to see how people act when things don't go their way.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I actually thought about that. It's like, if you just like went full Florida Homer and I went full Ohio State Homer, if that would be good for us.
So we could be like Brandon Walker when Mississippi State loses.
Yeah, like, and it'd just be funny, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Mississippi State lost in a heartbreaking fashion. Let's rack up millions of views of us fake crying on the phone." You know, like I don't know.
I don't think Brandon was faking it. I think that was real.
I don't know. I think that there were a few. I'm sure he was upset about it. I'm assuming that some of that like FaceTime with Dave Portnoy where he was making fun of him was clearly staged. But ask me what my record is, just to lean into the Ohio State homerism a little bit, picking the Ohio State-Michigan game since COVID.
What is your record picking the Ohio State?
0-4.
Did you not say you would give your house to someone if
I told
Michigan won 3 in a row?
That I would give them my entire... No, I was talking to Scott Docterman on the Athletics. I think it was Stars Matter. We were talking about recruiting, and it was 2020. And I think it was like during the COVID year, or I don't remember when it was, but it was before Michigan had won 1. And I said, we were talking about Michigan and how they were recruiting. And, you know, if you go back in time to my takes about the Ohio State Michigan game that you that I get thrown in my face a lot now, it's funny because that was before NIL, that was before the transfer portal, and no team that wasn't recruiting at a certain level was winning championships.
Right.
And somebody said on the show that Michigan is built to win 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 against Ohio State. And I said, I will give you my entire net worth and my home if you want to bet that won't happen. And they have won 4 in a row since. So as you know, my declarations of things that won't happen, you know, one of my toxic traits, and it happens in my friendships too, is that I say things that aren't fact in a declarative way that makes it feel like it's fact. Like, that was very wrong. But at the same time, also coincided with information that I didn't have when making that prediction, right? Like, you know, the entire thing has changed. But at the same time, last year's
None of that explains last year. None of it.
Right. Last year, like, so, yeah, Ohio State's a much better team. Ohio State has much better players. They're laying 10 points on the road against a team that I think should have a hard time scoring. They've got a freshman quarterback in Bryce Underwood who has shown flashes of greatness, but also still has shown that he has a ways to go. They don't have Kenneth Grant and
Mason Graham
in the middle anymore. Those guys are gone. Their receivers, although coming along, aren't elite. Why am I like, if you pick Michigan, you are picking Ohio State has a Michigan problem, and they do.
Are you worried that Ohio State hasn't really seen anyone of Michigan's talent level in a while?
Yes. I am worried. If I'm an Ohio State person, I'm worried about that. I'm worried about making the game too big and it overcoming you emotionally. I'm worried about how are they going to call this game. I'm worried about Michigan's, because this game before at times was closer than it should have been, even before the flip, because of the intense rivalry. I'm worried that it's on the road. I'm worried that it doesn't matter if they lose. I mean, there's a lot of things that, would worry me if I were an Ohio State fan, but like if we're picking football teams, if this was Florida versus USC and the rosters were the same, who would you pick? I mean, like that's the thing that you struggle with. Do you pick the team or do you pick the circumstance?
You've always told me pick the spot, don't pick the team.
I'm very excited to see what you're going to pick here. I'm going to lay the points because I'm just going to pick the better team. And listen, just so everybody knows, how many times have the Buffalo Bills lost to the Chiefs in the playoffs or in a high leverage game? It's been like 4 or 5 times, right?
Yeah.
I've bet on the Bills in every one of those games and lost all of them, including last year's game where Dalton Kincaid dropped that pass that would have given them the cover. And I'm talking like pretty hefty wagers. If the Bills play the Chiefs in a high leverage game, or Bills play the Chiefs in it, I'm betting the Bills because I'm not going to not win when I'm right eventually. So I'm going to lay the point here because I think they're the better team. I think Ohio State is up and away the best team in college football this year. And I think that winning 34-24 is a cover, or 34-21. It doesn't have to be a blowout. It can be a close competitive game. But like, are they not 10 points better? And like, and I actually believe that Ryan Day has broken the hex.
Okay, this is where I am with you. I do not think Ryan Day is going to try to win this game in a certain fashion. I think that was the problem last year. They tried to win it the way Michigan would have won it. But who cares? You have better players, use your better players. Now, a couple of your better players are hurt. Are you going to get the production out of Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate that you would expect? I think probably so. I think that's probably why they held him out last week. So this is hard because I do think with a 10-point spread, I'd be pretty comfortable taking Michigan. But I'm going to say the same thing I said last year and was wrong. I think Ohio State just unloads all of it.
I mean, eventually it's going to turn back. So
the thing is, the question is, does it turn back in a close, hard-fought win? Or does it turn back? Like, remember that game? I think it was 2018. It was the one where Michigan was favored and Ohio State just annihilated them. It was Urban Meyer's last version of it. Yeah.
Where Harbaugh did it was this short.
Yeah.
The years get mixed up in my head.
No, 2016 was the how much?
Yeah, that was the Curtis Samuel game where he scored at the end.
The JT Barrett butt, his butt got. No, I'm talking about 2018 when Michigan was favored and Ohio State won by like 40.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So what are you leaning? Like, what do you think?
62-39, by the way, was the final at 2018 game.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. I can see it rolling downhill and Michigan not being built to come back.
Yeah.
Michigan's got to keep it close and then's got to force some mistakes, which we've seen. We've seen mistakes. We saw it last year. That's how Michigan stayed in the game. That's how Michigan won.
Here's where Michigan's going to win if they do. Ohio State is out of sync in their passing attack. It's cold. Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate are not fully healthy. They're not fully themselves. And Michigan turns this into a game where Ohio State needs to win on the ground, and they won't be able to do that. Like, I don't think, because like Ohio State's weakness against everybody has been pounding the ball.
Right. But I don't know that Michigan is going to be able to pound the ball against Ohio State.
That's the thing that, and it was true last year too. Like, my thing about this game is, how is Michigan going to score enough? But if that's your analysis, they scored enough last year and they didn't even have a functional offense.
Right. I know.
So, like, really, this is a personnel versus vibes spot. I always pick Right. I tend to pick in this game personnel because I had a front row seat to what personnel and the differences in this game do. They never lost when I was on the beat because there was such a drastic gap between what one team had and what one did.
Right.
Now, Michigan, during this streak at times, has closed that gap. They won the national title one of the years. Last year's game was really the only pants shitting one.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, do you think that's going to be a trend? I don't, because I think they winning the national championship took the pressure off of Ryan Day where he could.
Right. I think it broke him of the habit of thinking he has to beat Michigan in a particular way. Beat Michigan the way you beat Michigan. Beat Michigan the way you play.
And
you dictate the terms of the game.
He possesses equity now that he didn't possess a year ago.
Yep. So that's why I'm picking Ohio State to cover here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We both picked them to cover last year. We were both wrong.
Yeah. And if they don't win this one, I don't even know what to say.
Then it's something supernatural?
Or you have a coach who I think you could make the case that if they don't win this year, then Ryan Day he already has a Michigan problem. I don't know what's the next statement past that?
A Michigan syndrome?
Now the question,
Michigan malady?
The actual question can become, because like we're not going to get back into should he be fired again, because that was last year. But can Ohio State's head coach exist when everything in the program works so well that you can win a national championship, but you give up your rival? Can that happen?
I think we what we're learning is John Cooper probably would have still had a job if there was a 12-team playoff when John Cooper coached.
I think that's fair. I mean, if you go back and look at the 90s teams that lost to Michigan, the talent that they had in the 90s, they were
they were loaded
before this was even a thing. So like and they never won a championship under him. So yeah. But can you in 2025, can Ohio State fans be happy, love their coach and love their program if they can't beat Michigan would be the talk. But I'll give him one more shot at this. If they lose 5 in a row, that would just be otherworldly.
It would be. But we're both picking Ohio State to cover. We'll be there. We'll see what happens. Let us go now to Pittsburgh. Miami and Pitt, both still alive for the ACC championship. Must win to stay alive. Still need help from other situations. Ari's putting his hood up because he knows I'm about to check the weather. Miami is a 6.5-point favorite on the road. I feel like this is it's not that Dolphins-Chiefs game in the playoffs from a few years ago where the wind chill was like -27. This is not that. But looking at the forecast, mostly cloudy, high 31, low 24, noon kickoff. Ari, Miami has the superior athletes, but Pittsburgh is playing very well since switching to Mason Heinschel as the starting quarterback. 6-1 since making the switch. The losses to Notre Dame, which Pat Narduzzi told us he didn't care about.
I already know what's going to happen.
Okay.
I can just see it. I've been seeing it for a month. Miami's going to lose, and then everybody is going to give me shit for my position on Miami, even though that's not the point.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
I know that's going to happen. I mean, they're going to do it to me too, because we've both had the same argument about the head-to-head with Notre Dame. What the Notre Dame fans don't understand is we would have it if it was 2 other teams too. We don't care.
But then they're also going to
what the teams are.
How could you have ever thought that Miami should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame? They can't even beat Pitt, and that's not the point at all. Like, I'm already like ahead of it.
But it will solve the argument.
I think it would be it would solve the argument, and that would be great for the College Football Playoff Committee. But never was the point. I actually acknowledge that I think that I would pick Notre Dame if they played Miami on Saturday. Now, River, if you could pop up here for a second, can you tell everybody what my record is against the spread this year?
Yes, your record, hold on a second, is 45, 73, and 2.
So who gives a shit what I think would happen? Who cares what I think would happen? Who cares what you think? Who cares what the committee thinks? We're not projecting forward. We're projecting on the results that we have and what we think should never take precedent over the results. I'm riding with Miami because I am pot committed. But I know deep down in my plums what's going to happen.
Your plums are notoriously unreliable. Your plums picked Texas a couple weekends ago.
My plums also are very reliable when it comes to me being delivered a shit sandwich. I know what's going to happen. But I'm going to go with Miami because I am also morbidly curious more than anything. Like I want the committee to have to choose between them, and I want them when push comes to shove to pick Notre Dame because I want to see how they'll explain that. Like I'm like, if you're a person who roots for chaos, because there are a lot of people out there that are like, I don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to happen, but what I do want is a mess at the end of the year that we can't possibly clean up. And the committee for a decade has been fortunate to only have been delivered one unsolvable mess, which was Florida State, Alabama. If they are delivered a mess and A&M loses to Texas and they have all these teams in there, that might actually make it easier so it's not down to just Miami and Notre Dame. I just want to see how the committee will deliberate under that circumstance. I'm going to take Notre Dame. I'm going to take Pittsburgh to cover, but Miami to win.
Ooh, there you go. Little hedge there.
Is that a good hedge?
Well, it is a good hedge. I'm also going to take Pittsburgh to cover because I'm looking at the weather and it's going to be cold and you're giving me almost a touchdown. I'm going to watch this spread. If it goes up, I'm going to take the mulligan and take more points. Just give me all the points you're going to give me for this because
I'm changing my mind.
Uh-oh.
I think people think Miami stinks. They do not stink. They've got a lot.
They do not stink, but they are a bunch of Florida guys going into the cold against a team that is not bad.
You want to know what's really funny? Like I am getting accused of being a Miami homer like 30 times a day. I've never covered a Miami home game. I've been on Miami's campus once because that's where they practiced for the Orange Bowl when I was covering it one year. I have no affiliation whatsoever to Miami other than I have a friend who's a Miami fan. I think Miami's got a really good front seven. I think if Carson Beck plays well, like what is Pitt, some sort of masterpiece? Okay, it's going to be cold out. Half their roster's from Florida. I'm going to lay the points. Miami's a better team than them. They're going to win by a touchdown, right? Right?
Give me Pittsburgh to cover, baby. Temperature drop. Give me Pittsburgh to cover.
You have a short memory.
31 degrees at kickoff and cloudy.
You have a short memory because picking Pitt to cover games used to be the bane of your existence. And maybe it'll be the
it's too legit to Pitt. I remember it was a Pitt NC State game actually that I picked.
That was the mayonnaise.
That caused me to have to eat the mayonnaise.
They used to be the bane of your existence, and now they're going to be the Reuben bane of your existence.
You were saving that one up.
I don't know. I know what's going to happen, and I'm
just looking at the weather, baby.
Yeah. And this is also historically the spot that Miami fails in. Forget like the Notre Dame stuff. Just like this is Syracuse last year all over again.
We'll find out. Miami at Pitt, noon Eastern on Saturday.
Let the record show I have Miami -6.5.
There you go. And I have Pitt +6.5. Got to pick some of these home dogs this week. Got to pick them. Gots to. The question is, will you pick Washington as a home underdog? Big rivalry game, Washington, Oregon. Oregon is probably in the playoff, probably does not need to win this game, but it certainly wouldn't hurt. It's very much like Ole Miss, where if they lose and there's some bid thieves, it gets a little murky. But as long as they win, they're comfortably in. Oregon is a 7-point favorite on the road. This is a big rivalry game. So let's talk Washington, because Washington is 8-3 this year. I think Jed Fish probably looking at this as an audition to potentially try to get the job at his alma mater, Florida, if Lane Kiffin does not choose Florida. I don't know that Jed would be the only candidate. I think there would be other candidates that they would also consider if Lane doesn't pick Florida, but I think Jed is one that they would consider. It would be quite the case if he were to beat Oregon. Now, Washington fans don't want to hear that because they just lost Kalen DeBoer to Alabama. If their coach is making progress and wins 9 games, they don't want to lose him. I will point out also, Jed has a $10 million buyout if some other school wants to hire him. So it's possible people look at the price tag and say, nah, we're good. But if he has a win against Oregon and they finish this season 9-3, that is a big, big jump.
Yeah. Are we back on Oregon's badass yet, or like are we still like behind on that?
I think we are back on Oregon's badass, and here I want to. Can I read you the games that Washington has won?
Yeah, sure.
Colorado State, UC Davis, Washington State, Maryland, Rutgers, Illinois, Purdue, UCLA. Any of those tickle you in the plums?
They don't. No.
Okay. Illinois is probably the best win of that, but Illinois just lost to Wisconsin, just like, Washington lost to Wisconsin a few weeks ago. So this is a long way of me saying they are an 8-3 team. Had the Big Ten schedule been different, they probably wouldn't be.
Yeah. The team that I watched on Saturday play USC is a team I think can win playoff games. I'm not sure. I know it's a rivalry game. I know it's on the road. I think Oregon it's possible that we're going to get the inverse of last year. Or last year they spent all year in the sunshine, beating the crap out of everybody, beat Ohio State in the regular season, won the Big Ten, and they were the apple of everyone's eye, the unquestionable number 1 team in the country, and then they got their doors blown off in the playoff. This year, they lost a regular season game at home to Indiana, have flown under the radar all season, but are also very good, has not been part of the conversation at all, and then rises up at the end and shocks people in the postseason. So I think Oregon's going to make a move starting on Saturday into the national conversation in a way that it hasn't been in the last few months. And I think like if we were to fill out a bracket right now, we don't know what their draws would be or who they would have to play or if they're going to be faced with Ohio State in the second round again. I don't know. But Oregon to me is a team that I feel pretty comfortable like moving pretty deep into that bracket. So I'm going to take them to cover the game. I think they're a really good team. They're playing well. Really good players. I don't know what Washington brings to the table in this matchup to keep it close.
Washington does have some very good players. This is because we like Damon Williams, who depends on the game, but we love Jonah Coleman. We love Denzel Boston. Like they've got some ultra talented players. They have some premium players, but I think Oregon just has more premium players.
At every level on both sides of the ball. Yeah.
Yes. And you saw that against USC. You saw them with a very complete team win that, they did it on offense. They did it on defense. They did it on special teams. They really, really stuffed the run against USC. And USC's been a pretty good running team for a lot of the year. So the only other team that stuffed USC that way was Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So I think you're looking at a very good Oregon team. This is a Washington team that is getting better, and assuming Jedd Fisch stays, I think they're due to be contenders in the Big Ten in the coming years, especially as Damon Williams grows into his talent. But I think Oregon's better right now. I think Oregon will cover the spread and cruise on into the college football playoff, and we'll see, because they will already know what happened in the Ohio State-Michigan game. So they'll know if they're playing for a spot in the Big Ten championship game or not.
Yeah. So?
All right. One more. We go now to the loveliest village on the plains. Alabama at Auburn. Alabama is a 5.5-point favorite. If Alabama wins, they are in the college football playoff. They are in the SEC championship game. If Alabama loses, they are probably out of the college football playoff. They are definitely out of the SEC championship game. Auburn is playing with an interim coach. Auburn has 2 quarterbacks, both of whom are going to redshirt this year. And that's why one of them started last week. But that look completely different than the one who started most of the year. This is going to get nuts.
Yeah, this is a high likelihood of grab ass game, but also in all the games that we've gone through today, is one team so superior to the other that like it's unbelievable that it's a single digit spread, less than a score. Like Alabama is so much better than Auburn, right? Like,
No.
talk me through this. They're not
From
Auburn's
a talent
bad.
standpoint, from a roster standpoint, they're so much better.
I think so. Yeah.
How?
I know that Auburn has some guys on the defensive line. Maybe roster standpoint isn't the way to put it. If you're gonna like push me on like the star difference.
Would you take Cam Coleman or any of Alabama's receivers? Like, would you take Jeremy Bernard or Ryan Williams over Cam Coleman if you're picking a team?
You are a bad man for asking me that question because you know I'm obsessed with Cam Coleman. That
I
is
did it on purpose.
That's leading the witness. Like we're not.
You know the answer.
Yes, but would I take Cam Coleman as an actual player? Yes, I would probably take Cam Coleman over just about anybody you're going to ask me. But
you'd rather have Ty Simpson throwing in passes, though.
But I'm saying but the Cam Coleman in the application in which he's used, probably not. Like I don't know, they throw him the ball that much. Or they don't have a functional enough offense to unlock his potential. So, like, yeah, I guess in theory, sure, I would take him over a lot of players. I would take him over players on Ohio State's team too. Like, that's not fair. Keep going though. There's two other players on Auburn's roster that you can do that with, and then it falls apart.
Keldrick Falk?
Yeah, I mean he's really good. I mean, I'm not saying that Auburn has no good players.
Is Alabama's offensive line that good? I mean, they don't run the ball very well. You see where I'm getting at. This is not as cut and dried from a talent standpoint as you seem to think it is. I do think Alabama is better and more talented.
Let me just ask you it this way without going player for player. There are 44 players that start for both like in total for the two teams combined.
Yep.
If you had to just take a stab at it without like actually, we'd have to do a live breakdown of like every single player of every position. How many of the 44 players do you think that Alabama would have an advantage in?
I'd say
you just had to guess.
More than half.
Would you say in the 30s probably?
I don't know if I'd say that.
My stab at it without doing an in-depth breakdown would be 30 to 32. That would be my blanket guess. Now marry that with the functionality of the two teams. They've got an advantage in talent, but they've also got an advantage in function. Like, I'm laying the points here, and I know that it's Auburn, and I know that things get wonky, and I'm aware that two of the four most iconic rivalry plays in the history of college football like reside in this game. I cannot, in good faith, pick Auburn plus 5.5 because I think things could get weird.
High probability of grab ass. Can I regale you with what has happened the last 3 times this game has been played in Jordan-Hare Stadium?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to 2019. Tua Tagovailoa is injured. Mac Jones is replacing him as the starting quarterback. Mac Jones throws 2 pick sixes, including a 100-yard pick six. Alabama loses. We move on to 2021. Bryce Young about to become a Heisman Trophy winner. Part of his Heisman, maybe his Heisman moment, was getting the ball down 17-10, down 10-3 with 1 minute and 35 seconds to go on the Alabama 3-yard line. He then led Alabama on a 12-play, 97-yard drive for a touchdown. 28-yard pass to Ja'Cory Brooks with 24 seconds left. Would you say the odds of scoring from your own 3-yard line with 1:35 to go are pretty high?
No, I wouldn't.
They end up winning in overtime. 2023. 4th and goal from the 31. Jalen Milroe to Isaiah Bond touchdown. This game defines grab ass. This game, when played in Jordan-Hare Stadium, is nothing but grab ass. Ari, It's a 5.5 point spread.
I'm going to lay the points. Thank you for the review.
Do you know?
That's what makes grab ass fun. You're not supposed to see.
Do you know if when the last time the winning team covered a 5.5 point spread in this game was when it was played in Jordan-Hare Stadium?
No. Do you know?
I'm looking. I hadn't found it yet.
Okay. Well, let me know when you find it.
I would say it's 2017 when Auburn won the West, beat the two teams that played for the national title, and then Alabama went on to win the national title. But I was at that game. I just can't remember the final score. Yeah, 26-14. So that was the last time an Auburn-Alabama game at Jordan-Hare Stadium ended with a margin of victory higher than 5.5. Ari, history, vibes, the spot, everything tells me Auburn's covering here. I don't know if they're winning. They may get punched so hard in the nuts that it'll feel like they can never recover, because that happens. That was 4th and goal from the 31. That is what they did to Alabama at the kick 6. That's what happens when they play this game in this stadium.
Your whole diatribe here reminds me of you picking Oklahoma in the Texas game last year.
Mm-hmm.
By the way.
Okay.
Auburn stinks this year. Okay.
Who's better at picking games against the spread this season?
You. But you do make some really stupid picks.
Except most of them win. And
Yeah,
most
like
of yours don't.
You picked Florida on Saturday. Like, that was dumb.
I did. That was one of the 4 that lost. And I picked 5 that won.
But I'm not saying, I'm just saying, like, it's like you're better at it, but like you're also not.
Give me Auburn to cover. War damn cover. War damn cover.
If that happens, by the way, and Auburn wins, like, this year is a absolute. I'm trying not to be profane, but like if Auburn ends up winning this game, yeah, thank you for doing it for me. Like, wow. But listen,
Ari, do you want to hear a stat? You know how I know you're going to have a terrible week?
Huh?
Producer River's been updating me throughout the show on your picks.
Okay.
You've picked 8 of 9 road favorites. You're going to have an awful week.
Oh, boy.
You are going to have a terrible week.
Yeah, I'm going to have an awful week.
But you know who's going to have a great week?
I actually hope I do.
Because it's more fun that way. You know who's going to have a great week? All of us. Because this is what it comes down to. This is why we do it. This is the greatest week of the year. I cannot wait. And we will talk to you again on Tuesday.